Hi everyone, I'm Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator here at the Buffalo Naval Park. And happy holidays to you and yours from the Naval Park. For today's video, we're going to be going behind the brown door. Alright, this is where I keep the manuscript collections. And we have some Christmas menus from the 40s and 50s. And we're going to be going into that manuscript collections, going into the file cabinets and pulling those out. Because we're going to talk a little bit about Christmas aboard ships or on base. Alright, so some of the Christmas cards we have, or the Christmas menus and things that we have, are from different naval stations or marine stations. So let's go do that. Alright, so I've got my little list here, and we'll pull those out, and that's part of the archiving the collection process, is you organize manuscripts and then you put them away. Okay, so welcome. This is one of the areas that I store 3D artifacts and 2D manuscript collections, and it's not one of the better spaces on board, but this is why I'm going to be gathering them all in a spot on the third deck, and then I'm going to be creating a research library. All right, and then people will be able to come in and research these collections that we have here. So these boxes represent some of the our 3D artifacts. All right, and then these three file cabinets represent the manuscript collections. So I need to go to cabinet 1, drawer 1, and I'm looking for a Christmas card. Ah, here's a Christmas card. So I've labeled this as Christmas Card, Naval Training Station, Newport, Rhode Island. Personal Wishes of Lawrence. All right, so we'll take a look at that. And this is amphibious. Okay, oh, there we go. Amphibious Group 1, Task Force 90, 1951, Korea era, with Thanksgiving and Christmas menus, Uss Mount Mckinley. See, now what I've done is, this is what I call like a first level processing. Right? They're not organized into any subject hierarchy. It's just as I found the collections, I just put them in next in line. So my next step would be to actually then create the subject hierarchy and then place all of these within that hierarchy, so I don't have Little Rock things in 7 different drawers. All the Little Rock material is all together. So that's why it's taken me a little bit to find this. And I'm looking for Christmas cards. Well, it might be way at the back, huh? There it is. Of course, it's the second to last one to the end, and here we are going through Christmas menus, 1942, Us Marine Barracks, Norfolk Navy Yard, Anti-Aircraft Training and Test Center, Virginia. Alright, so I believe it was the second to last, so look at that. Alright, now let's go have some holiday cheer. So we actually have, this is a kind of a place of honor in our Admiral's quarters here, mounted on the bulkhead. So you see it says United States Ship Arizona, Christmas 1939. We've got Captain Isaac Kidd, namesake of DD 661 USS Kidd in Baton Rouge. A shout out to Tim. How is everyone down there? And also a shout out to Cleveland, right? Because that's where Captain Kidd was from. And all my friends in Parma, hello. Alright, so we look at the menu. I love looking at these old menus. They're so fun. We've got roast young turkey. I do not know what stuffed celery is, okay? So is that stuffed celery with, say, cream cheese, or what else would they have used? Some other sort of cheese, or maybe, well, you know, we do is peanut butter. But it seems as though that they were having oyster dressing, which seems to be pretty standard on board U.S. Navy vessels at this time. Turkey, and they also had ham. Sometimes, and I always giggle, they have cigars written here. All right, it's kind of as the after dinner treat. But sometimes on some menus you see they actually say cigarettes too, which is pretty cool. Cigarettes and cigars. All right, but they had coffee, mixed nuts, mince pie, fruitcake, Parker House rolls. Anyone know what a Parker House roll is? Mashed potatoes, giblet, so that's turkey gravy, I think. All right, so what they would do is it was really up to the captain to say how festive the ship would become. Sometimes you had grouches that wouldn't really do very much, and sometimes you had captains that really embraced it. Certainly, all of the sailors would be missing their families at home, and this was kind of a way that this would ease that pain of missing your kids and your family and your parents potentially and things like that. So Stephen Tedesco, our Director of Education, reached out on a Facebook group to some old salts that served in the early 70s on USS Little Rock. And he heard back from 2 ship's cooks, which was really interesting because we were talking about the food on board during Christmas. So we heard back from Lloyd Marks, and we also heard back from Gene Onstadt. All right, and these 2 guys had different experiences, and they wrote a little different. So Lloyd says that they would cook anywhere from 7 to 25 very large turkeys and 4 to 12 hams. All right, as we just saw with the USS Arizona, it was tom turkey and some spiced ham. All right, so that seemed to be a standard, now going from 1939 all the way up to the early 70s. And they would also bake up to 85 pies for that day, too. Gene mentions that they wanted to make the galley as homey as they could for the sailors serving on board. So they were all missing their families at the time, but they wanted to make this meal, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day meals, as special as they could and as homemade as they could. So now we're going to show you the menu. Again, I pulled 3 menus from the collections. This is the Christmas menu from 1942 from the Us Marine Barracks at Norfolk Navy Yard. And so let's take a look at this, and you can kind of see what they're serving. Again, it's so interesting. They got turkey and they've got ham. All right, but they also have, let's see, what's interesting here? Soda crackers. All right, I guess that would be saltines today, maybe, maybe not. It's interesting. Celery dressing, candied sweet potatoes, again with the giblet gravy, scalloped corn, buttered peas, sliced tomatoes. Sounds tasty. Aha! For their after dinner, we got the cigars and the cigarettes here after dinner with some candy and some nuts and also butter. All right, so that will be good. So this is what the barracks served at Norfolk Naval Yard, and if you take a look at that, isn't that pretty cool? We got the emblem there, the Marine emblem, but then we got this cute little thing there, and there we go there. Cool. Let's take a look at another one. Amphibious Group 1. Aha. Oh, this is... here we go. This is a really nice one. This is from the Uss Mount McKinley. So an auxiliary vessel. This was the Korean, during the Korean conflict, so they actually have a map of Korea. They list the ship's cooks and bakers, which is really nice because, you know, a lot of times they didn't get the recognition. So it's really actually cool from a collecting standpoint that we would have the ship's cooks and bakers listed on this menu. And some of, oh, that's roast young turkey again with baked Hormel ham. All right, so the makers of Spam, I guess. They, again, with the stuffed celery. What is that all about? Snowflaked potatoes. Anyone know what that is? Sage dressing, cranberry sauce, hot pan rolls, buttered asparagus, right, mincemeat pie, and they had cigars and cigarillos. Cigarillos? That's
Cigarello?
Cigarillos, yeah, that's cool. And of course, butter for dessert as well.
It's got to be not just butter, though, right? I feel like maybe it's like butterscotch pudding or something.
Yeah, maybe, or it's they just listing all the condiments or something. Maybe, yeah. And it, oh,
well, I do like to have my cigarettes with a little butter.
Yeah, is that great? Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a really nice one. And then there's a little message from Captain Printup, all right, the commanding officer of the Mount McKinley. And again, that's a really nice menu. All right, the last thing we'd like to show is a Christmas card, really interesting, very cool, from the service school at the Naval Training Station in Newport, Rhode Island. All right, so they trained for these rates, all right? So this was for enlisted guys, say after their boot camp, and they would go to these various schools to get trained, This is probably around World War II because it says, wish you a Merry Christmas and a victorious New Year. So I love that. It's really cool. And this was from a guy named Lawrence, who was Company 1108, first section. He was in Gunner's Mate School. So he may have sent this to his family or his sweetheart or something like that. And so obviously the naval station would have supplied these to the students and the personnel that was attending, and then they would be able to fill it out and then send it home. So the service school back in World War I and World War II at the Naval Training Station in Newport is now where Officers Candidate School is now. So this service school was moved out of Newport, but there's been a naval training station there since, I think, 1883, and now it's where the Officers Candidate School is. Geez, I'm trying to remember all that. I hope I said that right, Officers Candidate School. So that gives you a little bit of what we have on board from our primary source documents and materials regarding Christmas and the holidays. And so hopefully you learned a little bit, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all of that stuff to you, and we really appreciate your support. If you look down on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see some suggested videos, or straight down below if you're on your mobile phone. Subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. And we really grew our YouTube channel this year, and we really thank you for all your support, all your comments, and we hope to see you again in 2022. So thanks very much, and take care and be safe.